la la la. What?
You do that every time.
No. I'm just clearing my throat. But I do have to do a clap. Hi, I'm Scott, and this is the 80 Thursdays project. So it is day 4 now? Yeah, day 4. Or Thursday 4, fourth Thursday of my little project. This week I was digging into Game Maker Studio 2 and trying to just kind of get to terms with it a little bit more, understand it a little bit. I played around a lot with the drag and drop feature, which is really quite interesting. It's a lot more robust than I was expecting it to be, than a lot of other drag and drop features. But definitely coding gives me a lot more control over everything I need to do, and it's probably the better way to do it. So anyway, this week I was digging into the engine. I had an idea that the best way to kind of do that was to build what I'm calling, or what is called, maybe it's an industry term, I don't know, a test bed. So basically this is just a really simple room, which is Game Maker's way of kind of defining a level. Just a simple room that has all of the physics in it, has just a floor, and then has a representation of my character. And then I can kind of play around with the code for the character and make it control in a really satisfying way. It's the same way that, as you know, I've said in previous videos, that Nintendo does it. Make the jumping and the control of the character fun, and then reiterate and build on that. So that's my goal, is to build this test bed, get my character to be fun to control, and then I can add in, then I can start thinking about level design and different mechanics, etc., etc. But the base is what I need to focus on just now. And also, this is a great way of learning different ways to code. I have a kind of a safe space, so to speak, where I can play around with code, different mechanics and whatnot, and if it doesn't work, it's just a case of deleting that one function, and it won't affect huge levels. I won't have to rebuild from scratch or anything like that at all. And then when it comes time, and this is just how I'm thinking ahead, when it comes time to making levels and actually building the game, then I already have all of the information, and it should just be a case of copy and pasting into the actual project itself, which I think is a quite good way of doing it. I could be doing it the completely ass-backwards way, but it's working for me. In terms of kind of how the project as a whole is going this week, it's been a bit of an off week, which is funny because last week I was like, I'm going to really concentrate on getting everything planned out and working on this properly, blah, 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 blah. That didn't happen. So I've ended up having to take an extra day. This is actually Friday that I'm recording this, not the Thursdays, just to get myself in a better place, to feel like I've actually accomplished something this week. So, which I have. I have completed the basic framework for this test bed. And so now I'm kind of scouring tutorials, searching through Reddit threads and forums on Yo-Yo Games' website to find different code to inject into my game to make it do all the things I want to do. Some of the problems I was having this week, weirdly, with the drop and drag feature, I could not figure out how to get my room to be wraparound so that as the player went off one side of the room, he appeared on the other side. Couldn't figure that out for the longest time, and I ended up having to go into the code and doing it that way, and then everything worked just grand. So that's just an example of the code working where the drag and drop is lacking. Again, just more evidence why I need to just concentrate on figuring out the code. I've also been watching a lot of Sean Spelding's videos this week. He is a great tutorial on a basic platformer, so I've been kind of skipping around in those videos looking for different bits of code to try out and to play around with and to figure out. And I feel like I'm getting a bit of a grasp on it now. I wrote my own piece of code from scratch, which all that did was just make the player move left or right, but it worked, and it was completely something I made up on my own, which I'm happy with. So yeah, next week I want to... Oh, well, actually, yeah, that's something I didn't manage to do this week, was to do any kind of design work. The test bed kind of took up everything. I didn't get any chance to sit and do any drawing or think about colors. On my little to-do list down here, I have make a color sheet and start looking at colors, because that's always a good place to start. It's the thing that in your brain that registers first. Like, if a character is red, then you have certain emotions, or is green and has certain emotions. It's the most obvious thing about a game when you look at it. And so I had an idea of figuring out a color sheet and a color palette and seeing which colors I actually wanted to implement into the game. Didn't do any of that. So next week I want to do some more of that, as well as kind of pushing a little bit more into this test bed and to learning the code. I feel like if I don't look at the code or play around with the code every single week, I'm going to forget some of it, which is not what I want to do. So I have to, again, be vigilant and continue pushing myself to learn, and yeah, it's fun. It's good. I enjoy it a lot. So yeah, next week. How does I sign off on these again?
Until next time.
Did I not say something like, what do I normally say? This, I don't know. This has been day 3 of the 80 Thursdays project. Thanks for watching. See you next week. I'm envisioning some kind of like theme tune over this bit. I don't know. Sounds good.